Hello and welcome to Thursday Lines. I'm your host for today, Nikki. Thursday Lines is proudly brought to you by Little Birdie TV, topsport.com.au, Hunting Form and The Comics Lounge. I have MG in the studio with me. We've got Toprope back for today. Hi, MG.
Very profound, the Comics Lounge, because that's all it's been for the last 5 minutes before we started recording this show. Toprope is in rare form. He was subbed out for last week's show, so he's fresh and ready to go for this week, Nikki.
Is he fresh? I'm not really sure. Are you fresh, Toprope?
Yeah, I'm not fresh. Our former host, OB and current boss with the Matildas absolutely destroyed me. And although they weren't solely responsible, but they played a major role in it. So, I'm never drinking again. We're also sponsored this week by Sobriety. Get around it.
I can't partake in the sobriety. I can't.
Yeah,
okay?
no.
I'm so sorry.
Victorians don't do that. We're in full flight down here. We had a huge sporting event yesterday.
Oh my God, it was
for
massive.
A Wednesday.
That was, look.
None of it good. None of it positive for Aussies.
Well, I mean, I think her goal, Sam Kerr's goal, was amazing. I mean, amazing.
Yeah,
literally to watch that back and just replay it again is insane. And I think when I listened to that stat, they said that there is 1 million professional female soccer players in England, and then they can pick the best 11. Now you think about that, and then compare that to Australia and how well our girls played.
Yeah.
Like that is,
yes, they're one of the best teams. Best player.
Oh, to be commended. Like how they played against France and their hottie coach was fabulous. And literally, I was at the MCG on Saturday night, and no one was watching the footy until the girls finished. And you could just hear the screams. And I was saying to you, I think that's what threw the game off, because it was a really odd game of footy. And I think the players could hear people screaming, and you knew it wasn't for what you were doing.
I'll say this about Sam Kerr. She is, as someone who does not like soccer, doesn't care for soccer much at all, she's one athlete who makes it exciting. She's amazing. She's insane. Yeah.
And just for every little kid in Australia, whether you're female or male, like,
the kids.
Or Joss is 10 and all of his mates, they were so excited to watch the game last night, and they were like, we hope we win. And I think when England scored the first goal, he was like, oh, that's going to be it. And, but when she scored her goal, that was he doesn't care for soccer either, but yeah, it was amazing.
Well, great national sporting moment last night, like regardless of whether you like soccer or not, regardless of what your code of choice is, it was a great national moment last night, and they might have gone down, but they're just pretty proud.
Yeah, I think what also was good, Toprope, there was the quality of game was unbelievable. Like, it wasn't just those couple of goals as well. There was a few, it could have easily had 5 or 6. I know you can say that a lot of times in soccer, but
you could have 3.
Yeah, they probably should have, and maybe the England last goal doesn't happen because it's obviously set up differently. But geez, England's goals were just as good though. Oh, their strikes were so clean. Like their first goal was top shelf as well. So I think they've in the high standard games. And the end of the other semi-final, I know we'll cover them briefly later on with the odds and stuff like that, but the finish to the first semi-final was just as good as well. That finish was great. So they have been blessed, I think. They've showcased some really good games. The women's England will carry them a long way, especially in this country.
Yeah, absolutely. And Toprope, so we're going to Vegas for round 1 of the NRL next year or what?
I am waiting for the jacket to get. Look, I don't know if Vegas is the best place for someone who's going to be sober, but I will.
You won't be sober.
That's what the smart money is suggesting. But anyway, at the moment I am.
You got a big pre-season to set up for that, Toprope.
We off to Vegas. Big game. I was up there watching South and the Dragons in Cairns on Saturday, and South are one of our 4 teams who are announced to go, so they're pretty exciting. So I was trying to harangue their CEO, Blake Sawyer, to get me on the books to take me over. So I'll tell you what, this is the greatest gravy train of all time. The gravy train jumping to try and find themselves a freebie trip to Vegas. Everyone involved in footy is totally part of it.
But how exciting, like those 4 teams. And obviously I think when they said, before they announced the teams and you knew it was only going to be a certain few clubs that possibly could have had the ability, I find it interesting that Penrith haven't put their you could not trust, obviously, the Penrith players in Vegas. So they're all going to get locked up. So Penrith is like, no, we can't go. But I think it's going to be amazing. It is just going to be, they only need like 0.01% of the population to tune in or something, and it's already more lucrative than a 24.
I'm not sure. Did you say Souths were going? Not sure the Bunnies have got a great track record with their players.
Yeah, but they're led by What's
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. Rusty's going to show them around. He's all right. He's got enough money to bail him out, put him on the private jet home.
He certainly knows the process, that's for sure.
It takes me back to a great quote from a couple of some of the Panthers player when they were on the 2001 Kangaroo. They were travelling in Prague, and Luke Rooney, who's the winger at the time of the Panthers, goes, "What did you make of Prague?" He goes, "Well, it was all right, but there was no toast over bedding, so I can't get that much around it." So, maybe Vegas is the place for Penrith players and fans. But yeah, it's going to be a big event. There's a lot of talk about it being represented successfully. I'll believe it when I see it, because you say they're going to 0.1% of the population. I don't even know if they've got a television deal sorted there yet. So we will see. I hope it's a success. Yeah, that's what you get, MG, for being an international sport. I'm sure, hopefully, maybe the AFL can open next year's season in Launceston or Ballarat or Mount Gambier or something like that. So hopefully lead the World Cup.
Yeah, fair. We've tried games in Auckland and stuff, smaller markets, or what did we went to China and gave out free tickets. But, it'll be same over there, Toprope. They'll just give all the tickets away. No one's going to pay to go watch it. So.
If they're actually smart, they will give tickets away. That would actually be the smart thing. If it's a long-term play, the worst thing the NRL could do would be to try to make money off this single event and be trying to charge $30-$40 a ticket for the game. If they're smart, they will attach tickets to every conference that's over there. They'll be giving tickets away and get fans. Now they'll do their best to fill the stadium on free tickets. You people look at what this is, because I don't know about you, MG, but once you see rugby league, you soon realise it's the greatest game in the world, and you're not turning your back on it. So just put him a little goose of it, and they'll be all over it.
You'd think that the Americans already aligned to it, because AFL is very different to gridiron, but obviously NRL is slightly closer to it. So I think that they'd be more. Sure. Yeah, I think they'd be more aligned and happier to watch it.
I don't pop rugby league. I'll watch it. I'll watch every game every week. So
you're coming to Vegas too? Great.
No,
I'm going to work this.
I just don't rubbish other sports as much as other people in the room. So
he's not even in the room. He's on a teleprompter.
Well, he's in the production area, but. I know he loves AFL. It's just he's got to build up his own sport, but I'm confident with the AFL. I don't need to do that. So
not so much to build out my own sport, MG. It's about protecting my own personal brand.
Yeah. Anyway, it'll be good. What about your coach sacking? Do you consider that a coach sacking, Toprope? You love one, or is this just more of a handover from Wes?
It's the most limptic coach sacking of all time. If it is.
Are we talking about Benji Marshall? Oh my God! How do you even do that? How does it even happen?
I think what the interesting part's going to be is what they're going to do with Benji. So they got rid of Tim Shane. He'll stay out the year. And obviously, I think that part of the plan, the Tigers are literally the dumbest football club in the NRL, possibly Australian sport. Think that they're going to throw Benji in probably a year before he's ready. A year before the club's ready and kind of get rid of him. So things are going to sound pretty. We got the Tigers. They're looking to throw a club legend in the deep end. So he's effectively been coaching this year, so it's not actually with too much interest. I think Tim Sheen is not happy with the whole situation. I'm not entirely sure Benji's happy with the situation.
Seems like a rabble of a club from the outside Toprope anyway.
Welcome to the Tigers. They've been around for 12 years and they've been through 7 or 8 coaches, met to God knows how many chairmans. The only consistencies are the CEO and the chairman, and they take zero responsibility every single time. Haven't made the final since 2011, so I know the longest drought is in the AFL and Jeep, but it's the longest drought in the NRL by a significant margin.
It'll be a while since they'll get back there. I think Nikki's team, Essendon's up there. I think they're running at about 6,500 days at the moment since they've actually won a final. That's always a funny count to see.
A long time.
Yeah, well, it'll climb into the 7,000 after this year, so it's a fair stretch.
Thanks for that. Do you want to get into some round 22 AFL scores?
Yeah, let's get into the footy. Okay, round 22. Geez, it seems like a while ago. It's actually a pretty good round. Very good round results-wise. 5 of the 9 results that you can see on the screen were under 10-point margins. So with a lot going on in terms of teams being able to make the final and also the positions of the top 4. So just a quick rundown that, Collingwood Geelong, obviously a big game for Geelong, just fell a bit short there. Collingwood now kicked 2 games clear on top. Unfortunately, the umpiring was disgraceful in this game again. I don't want to get into it much. We've obviously covered a lot of ground already with the talk so far, but just quickly, it's got to need a major overhaul at the end of this year. Both the umpiring, and the arc as well. But the errors they make on a weekly basis is just, it's just not acceptable in this game, I think. So that's a topic for another day. Essendon, your team, Nikki, gets a win. They've played West Coast and Kangaroos in the last 2 weeks and just won both of them. So they've got a big test to make finals in the last 2 rounds. The Sydney Swans get the job done to keep their run alive. They've won 6 in a row now, so end Gold Coast season at the same time. Brisbane get the win. Very important for them. It sets them up for a possible top 2 position. They've got Collingwood coming up, which we'll discuss shortly. Adelaide, again, get close and just get lost. Might cost them a finals berth for this year, but they're improving. Carlton in a very ugly game. I know they say it was a finals type and everything like that. I more say it's for what it is, and when you watch the replay, a lot of errors, very defensive game, ugly to watch, and no wonder they were watching the women's soccer for the first part of the game. But they get an important win, the Blues, and now they've won 8 in a row. Melbourne, shaky ground within the top 4. The Derby, let's not talk about. West Coast, again, just didn't show up. I think it's their 5th or 6th time they've been beaten by over 100 points this year, so they're disgraceful, and the Fremantle season is over, so it was a relevant game. Hawthorn, the upset, probably the week, getting the Bulldogs done down in Tassie there by 3 points. Nothing doesn't mean anything for the Hawthorn, but could end up costing the Bulldogs a final spot. St Kilda, big win to stay in the 8 over Richmond, ends their season. Richmond were very ordinary. And Port Adelaide, big win. It was a big game for both, and Port Adelaide, off 4 straight losses, got a big win there.
So 7 out of 9 faves, 5 of 9 covers, 5 of 9 over totals, and 7 of 9 for the home teams. So that takes us to 67% of faves, 48% of covers, 52% over totals, and 51% for the home team.
Pretty good week for punters. In terms of favourites, 2 close upsets were Carlton beating Melbourne by 4 points and Hawthorn beating the Bulldogs by 3. So other than that, it was a home ground advantage, and also the favourites having a pretty good run.
Yeah, thanks, MG. Okay, let's quickly check out some NRL as well.
Yeah, because Panthers got the Seagulls 24-12. Fairly. When I was far game, the Seagulls were pretty weird in that one. They were throwing the ball around all over the shop. First attempted kicking drill in probably 35 years, so that was pretty incredible to see. It's measured for the Seagulls. Went to the Panthers, started to cover. They went well under. Sharks smashed Titans 2-6-6. Broncos embarrassed Eels 54-10 here. Eels lost Mitchell Moses there for a period of time, so their finals aspiration to hanging by a thread. The Rabbitohs 26-14 by the Dragons, should have won by a lot more. A lot of very dicey decisions made against them up in Cairns. Warriors beat the Tigers 30-22. Tigers made a late comeback there, but Warriors always in control. Took the Dolphins 30-14. Dolphins had a ton of injuries in that one, so pretty impressive to keep this close to the dip. And Sunday, a couple of routes. The Storm absolutely humiliated the Raiders 48-2. And the Knights absolutely smashed up, beat them 6-0 5 weeks ago, won 42-6 here. So tough times for a few of those at the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah, thanks, Toprope. Okay, and a quick look at the bookie wrap there. So 8 of 8 faves. Look at that. 5 of 8 covers, 4 of 8 over totals, 6 of 8 for the home teams. And for the season, that takes us to 68% of faves, 47% of covers, 47% over total, and 57% for the home team.
Yeah, well done to multi-punters who just jammed all the favourites last week, except for Colette. So nice work. It wouldn't have been too successful a viewing either, but made huge edges. So it's all kind of coming back to par. It's been no massive season edges at the moment.
Thanks, Toprope. Okay, now we've had a quick touch on it earlier today, but we're going to quickly touch on the global wrap as well, because we've got a couple of big events coming up. So Toprope, can you walk me through the BMW?
Yeah, BMW Championship, second last event of the PGA Tour season. We passed for down to 50 this week. Rory and Scotty at the top of the market, either John Rahm, Cantlay at the similar tier, and then we're going to drop down to Holland, Shoffley, Morikawa. Few this week. It's a very, very difficult course. You want to be very long off the tee. You want to be very accurate with your irons, and you want to be able to get up and down. So Patrick Cantlay has actually won this event the last 2 years, been different courses, so he kind of can't take much all of it, but his record in playoffs events has been outstanding, so I'm happy to back him at $12. A few others at a price that we'd be looking at. Colin Morikawa, $23. Tremendous iron player. Benny Arn and Tom Kim both 50-1 plus. I think they're both red hot goes this week too.
And you got some US tennis for me coming up?
Yeah, the tennis as we lead into the US Open. Mm-hmm. So this week, both the male and the females are in Cincinnati. So all your betting there at Top Sport. It's going well. The Aussies, Mac Purcell, had a big upset for a top 10 player overnight. So, it's a good form lead into the US Open. So anyone who follows the tennis will be betting in Cincinnati.
Oh, right, Cincinnati. Okay. And the World Cups. On Saturday night, Australia's going to play Sweden in the World Cup for third place, and Australia is 260, Sweden 262, not much separating, and the draw is 3:30.
Yeah, not sure just quickly how both these sides get up. Australia obviously going to have 1 day less turnaround, and they've got to travel back up to Queensland, so it's a lot of mucking around. Going to be very flat after a game, and I assume Sweden would be as well. So I'm not sure how you either play for third or fourth or how you bet into this one, but almost pick them. So I'm sure everyone will give the Matildas a send-off.
Of course, the Tillies, yes. In the final, Spain's going to play England. This is on Sunday at 8 o'clock. Spain 266, England 285, and the draw is 290. So Spain slight favourites.
Yeah, not too much in it. It should be a cracking contest, and I'm sure everyone will be watching. So, have you got a tip there, Toprope?
England based on last night.
England.
Yeah.
I think you're right. They'll get nearly their best player back as well.
Yeah.
So
and you'd assume they're going to have a fair bit of support, the English here. So I'm sure they'll get them home.
One less day recovery as well might be a slight detractor, but yeah.
All right, now it is time for Thursday Lines, and it's proudly brought to you by topsport.com.au. Family owned and operated for over 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with TopSport. Okay, let's go to some quick premiership markets. So we've got some movement here. We do, MG.
Yes, Collingwood obviously come out. Just a few injuries are occurring as well, and we'll cover that game shortly coming up. Brisbane have been smashed off the map, so could be an upset on the cards there. So they've just drifted. Melbourne have kind of held their price. Port Adelaide on the third line, and then Brisbane. So Brisbane's got a big game, have to win for a potential top two. Carlton have obviously the clear fifth pick, and then they branch out to the rest. I think Geelong have got to win their last two games to get in, so do Sydney. So branches out, but I'm still holding faith with Melbourne, even though they were very disappointing against Carlton.
Yeah. Okay, you got chips in at the right price on two teams. I'm happy with that for you. Okay, let's have a look at your. How did the Stings go?
Terrible.
Sad, very terrible.
Worst week of the year, Nikki. Vested two games heavily: the Carlton Melbourne game and the Hawthorn Bulldogs. They were the two upsets of the week. So those good selections by me. But a disastrous week. Round 22. So has cut my POT in half. So I will have to hit back real strongly the last 2 weeks of the season.
I have no doubt that you will. Top right. We've got some NRL Premiership prices. Penrith.
Penrith are killing us all. But Penrith and Penrith can be very hard to beat. Blah blah blah. Sick of repeating myself, but we'll highlight the Melbourne Storm this week. One little fact: the Pap is back. Not named this.
He's back.
Playing this week, but was unreal in the Queensland Cup last week. Put up some unreal numbers, was outstanding. I don't see exactly how they're going to use him, not using off the bench as an impact player, but the Pap is back. Pap will not only give them that spark that they've kind of been missing the entire season, he will make everyone around him better, because that's what the Pap does. Everyone loves the Pap. So, got to watch the Storm. Very happy to be on the Storm, I think. Despite the price on the Brighton, despite how well they're playing, I would rather be the Melbourne Storm.
I'm not surprised you said that, actually, to be honest.
No one's surprised. No.
Okay, and little bit of not a great week either. GGOA.
No, it's not been a great week. It's not been a great month. It's not been a great back end of the year, Nick. So we'll really brush over this together. It's tough week. We had some bad losses, the under 47.5, 48 points in the Knights, and a few close ones, but such is life.
Such is life, but that's okay. We've got finals coming up, and I'm sure we're going to be all over it. So if you want to into your finals footy for both AFL and NRL, you do need the GGOA and the Stings, and you can get that in the Little Birdie live TV shop, because they're not short of a bet, that's for sure. Okay, shall we touch on it? First game, Collingwood, Brisbane. Here we go. Collingwood $1.87, Brisbane $1.87. Take your pick, no line. Over under 171.5. Friday night, 7:50. MJ.
Yes, cracking game at the Dome. So unfortunately, the crowd is jam packed, struggling to get some tickets. So anyone out there want to throw us one, that'd be good. In the expensive seats also helps there. But first v second, Brisbane have got the advantage of this being at the Dome. So Collingwood have played twice there this year and won both of them, and Brisbane have won 7 of their last 8. So big difference from the Dome to the MCG, which will help them. Collingwood have got some big injuries mounting. DeGoey and Hill won't play on the top of Moore as well. So this is good chance for Brisbane to get a very important win. So Brisbane need to win their last 2 to finish in the top 2 and get a home final. So really keen that Brisbane, the market's been absolutely smashed. Collingwood opened 6 and now it's Pickham, and I think Brisbane will start favourite in this game. So if you're going to back Collingwood, I'd sit and wait until jump time tomorrow, and if you want to back Brisbane, I'd get in, because I just think it's going to go Brisbane's way. I think they'll start favourite in this game. Head-to-head, they've won their last 5 against Collingwood. I know 4 out of 5 have been at the Gabba, but they hold no fear playing Collingwood, and they hold no fear coming down to the Dome. So just a slight weird stat at the moment is the last 20 games now at the Dome, 19 of the favourites have won. So they're on a 19-1 streak. So could be important stat if Brisbane actually do start favourite there. Okay. Pretty keen on the total here. Already backed this earlier. Open 168.5. It's now 171.5. So it's on the increase. I just think at the Dome, these two teams, good scoring. Collingwood's last 7 games now have been overs. So pretty keen on Brisbane and like the over.
All right. Thanks, MG. Brisbane and the overs there. Okay. Ooh, the Cowboys and the Sharks. I'm looking forward to this one, actually. This is tonight, 7.50. The Cowboys are $1.55, Cronulla $2.45. The line is 5.5 and the over-under 46.5.
Yeah, pretty important game. Both teams on the fringe of the 80. Cowboys definitely need to keep winning to be a shot. Sharks have dominated this matchup. Won 9 of the last 10, covered 10 of 12. Yeah, you win by the Cowboys, because actually in the finals last year where they knocked out the Sharks. So that was a pretty critical game. From memory, we might have been watching that at a fabulous restaurant in Nikki, from memory, after a few wines at the races. I don't mind the Cowboys here. And not going to be overly invested in, but they've covered 12 of 18 as a favourite before, more better than country bet. And interstate underdogs at 4 in the final 3 weeks of the season, cover at 43%. The Sharks aren't particularly good travellers. I don't really believe in them. Happy to take the Cowboys here.
Oh, Saturday afternoon, GWS $1.40. The Bombers are at $2.80. The line is 15.5, over under 167.5.
Yes, an elimination final that we've got a few of them on the Saturday, so this is an important one for both sides, because the loser will not be playing finals this year. I thought the market came out way too big here. They actually opened as big as plus 22 in the market. Now you can see it's down to 15. So had an early play there on your team, the Bombers there, and I think it'll continue to get to the Bombers' way. I don't think the market's bottomed out by any stretch here. Both have got some important ins. Daniels and Bedford for the Giants, and Essendon have got potentially Draper, Stringer and Shield coming in. So strengths for both sides. I like Essendon in this game. I think that the plus 22 down to 18 and then 15 today. So very good money for them. I know GWS have won 7 out of the last 9. They were pretty bad last week on the road to Port, but back at home this week. Obviously be a final tight game. I can't really talk about the total too much, but I think Essendon with a big start. That's a play.
Okay, the Bombers there. I'm happy to cheer you there on that one, MJ. Okay, now we go to tomorrow night, Friday night, 8 o'clock, Parramatta and the Roosters. Parramatta $2.26. The Chookies $1.63. The line is a flat 4 and the over-under 43.5.
I could not be more chips in on Parramatta in this game. Could not be more chips in. There is no better angle on footy than betting on teams who were humiliated the week before. Teams of conceding 50 plus, 71% they cover the next week. Of conceding 50 plus, they play at home, 78%. Teams of conceding 54 or more, 20-4 against the spread. They've lost Moses, but they get Seaver, they get Campbell Geller back. I'll be damned if I'm backing the Roosters as a road favourite here. Put as 5-13 as a favourite. 5-16 as a favourite away from the SFS and SCG. Chips in the Eels here.
Chips in on the Eels there. Okay, all right. We'll have some banter on Friday night. Okay, Adelaide and the Swannies. The Crows are $1.50. The Swans $2.50. The line is 11.5 and the over-under 172.5.
Yeah, another elimination final for this one. So even though it's 12th v 7th, they're pretty close. Only one win separates them. So the away team, Sydney, they've won 5 in a row, travelled to Adelaide, who have been unbelievable at home this year. So, this is a very good contest. I'm keen on the outsider again here. I think Sydney, like the way they're going. Adelaide are very inconsistent. They're up and down, obviously very good at home, so it's going to be a tough road trip. I just think the plus 11.5 is good value for Sydney. I like the way they're going. Head-to-head, they're 9-4 against Adelaide and won their last 3. So I just think the value's in with this side. Also with the over, I think there's points. They started too low in this. There was some weather around early, so I understand why they only started down in the high 160s. Now it's crept in to about 173, so it's risen by about 5 points. The weather seems to have cleared here, so I think there'll be a high-scoring game as well. So Sydney and the over here, a double play.
Sydney and the overs there for MG. All right, now let's go. This is going to be another good game. Knights and the Rabbitohs. The Knights, 2.10. Rabbitohs, $1.74. The line, 2.5. Over under 48.5.
Yeah, I'm sneaky willing to the Knights in this one in particular. They're just looking at recent form. Been no team more overrated by the market than the Rabbitohs. Covered as 2 of their last 11. The Knights have won 6 on the trot. Have covered 6 last AFL win. Covered 7 their last 9 at home. Bodies are playing a very predictable style of attack. The Knights are all kind of playing a pretty interesting brand football at the moment. So, I want to go with the Knights as a home underdog here. Nothing too silly, but I'll be betting the Knights.
Okay, the Knights there. I like it. Let's do it. All right. Okay, let's check out the rest of the NRL games. So we've got the Warriors and the Manly. The Warriors, $1.25. Manly, $4. The line is 12.5. Over under 45.5.
Yeah, Warriors win this, but not keen at beyond 12.5 points. They've failed to cover their last 3 in New Zealand. Can't make a case for the Eagles, but I'm absolutely very keen to be playing the over in this one. The over's hit 11 of the last 13 between these two. It's hit 56 and 3 of the last 4. Over's 13 and 3 when the Warriors are scoring 28 plus. Yeah, like the overs in this one.
Saturday afternoon, we've got West Tigers and the Dolphins. West Tigers, $1.37. The Dolphins, 3.10. The line is 8.5 and the over under 47.5.
Yeah, price is gone here. The Tigers off the map here. Minus 2.5 and minus 8.5. Key outs for the Dolphins, losing 5 starters. They said Tabby Offord, Jeremy Arthur-King, among others. Look, the Tigers do not start their shortlet often, and they cover as and less. But I think they're absolute morales this weekend. To cover 9 of 12 at Combank, 5 of 6 in the day. They're playing pretty well. Dolphins, their season's done. They're playing a lot of genuine reserve graders this week. If the Tigers are anywhere near switched on, they should put a score on it. So, the big if on that one. So I'm not quite declaring them, but happy about the Tigers as well.
Then we move to Saturday, 5:30 game. Gold Coast and the Panthers. Gold Coast, $9.25. Panthers, $1.06. Line, 21.5. Over under 44.5.
I'll tell you what, it's not very fun. Taking a massive plus against Penrith, knowing that they're probably going to keep the team you back into a trial tour and just hoping that Panthers don't get away too easily. I'm taking the plus 21.5. Not for any great reason. The Titans are pretty good as an outsider. They've covered 4 or 5, getting at least 3 converted tries. They've covered 4 or 5 of the home underdog of 10 or more points. Panthers have covered 3 of 10 as a road favourite rated plus. Leaning towards the Titans here, but not getting carried away.
All right. Saturday night, we've got St. George and the Storm. St. George, $5. The Storm, $1.17. The line is 15.5 and the over under 45.5.
Come on, launching. 15 and 80 against the spread as an interstate favourite of 12.5 or more. The Storm, they are just so good on the road. They're perennially underrated. They are warming into it. They've covered 16 out of 24, scoring 40 plus. Just hits every box. Everything, the pieces are moving nicely for Bellamy. He's kind of looks like he's getting them ready. He might be the Bart Cummings of this year's NRL Premiership. He's getting ready for the comp. So, absolutely love the Storm this week. I've been taking the minus all day, all night, and probably a little bit more.
That is awesome to hear. Okay, the Storm there. Thank you. And then the last game we've got Sunday afternoon. We've got the Raiders and the Bulldogs. Raiders $1.34. Bulldogs $3.25. The line is 9.5. Over under 45.5.
What a low game between 2 low teams. It is a point. The Raiders are awful as favourites because 17 of 50 was a favourite. Big cross. The Bulldogs, they're just awful. They are one of 4 teams in the last decade to have been conceding 30 plus a game. We concede the teams that aren't any good. So, look, the case for the Raiders here in the road. Home teams off a loss of 40 or more. They cover it 64% the next week. The Raiders have covered 4 straight of conceding 42. So, this is a good bounce back spot for them. I'm leaning towards the Raiders here, but if you're betting on this game, you are an absolute scorer.
Desperation on a Sunday afternoon. Who hasn't been there? Okay, well, thanks, Top.
I'll be betting on it, because I'll be as a desperado.
Oh, thanks, Toprope. Okay, NG, let's run through the last of the AFL games. All right, we've got Richmond, North Melbourne. Richmond, $1.25. North Melbourne, $3.75. The line is 26.5. Over under 169.5.
Yeah, send-off game for both Cochin and Rewalt, so they'll probably get a big crowd here. It is a dead game for both sides. Both are out of the running. Richmond, little off 6-day break might hurt them a bit, but I just think they'll get around and send off. So I'd be staggered if North Melbourne were partaking in this game too strongly. They opened 24 up to 26. I think this should be closer to 30. So just shading Richmond at this stage, and I think there'll be plenty of scoring. Last 10 straight now at the MCG have all gone over. So shade the over, and I think Richmond might put on a show for two of their champions, sending them off. What a game. What a send-off for them. That's amazing. Okay, Saturday afternoon, we've got the Gold Coast and Carlton. Gold Coast, $2.28, Carlton, $1.60. The line is 8.5, over under 165.5. Yeah, this game in Cairns is going to be pretty hot, forecasting around 29, 30 degrees at this stage. So that might test the Blues a little, which is maybe why they look attractive odds at the 8. The market's very solid here. Carlton are going for 9 in a row, and they did absolutely bash Gold Coast up not too long ago, around 14 by 59 points. So they kind of started their streak here. So I think Carlton have got a few injuries, but I think with both full forwards coming back, maybe Mackay and King, it balances it out. I don't think it'll be a high-scoring game. I think there's the unders has gone from 168 down to 166. I think it'll get closer to 160 as the day goes on. But yeah, I'm not. It's not a betting game for me. I just think I'll watch and see if Carlton can make it 9 in a row. Oh, right. When was the last time they did that? Do you know? No, probably wasn't alive. All right. So then we move straight to St Kilda and Geelong. St Kilda, $2.26, Geelong, $1.61. The line is 7.5, over under 160.5. Yeah, it's elimination final. So both the Saturday night games are elimination finals. So you need 2 TVs to watch both of these games. I think Geelong are the side, even though it's at the Dome, where obviously St Kilda are comfortable. They're 0-5 covering the spread as outside of St Kilda. So they're not in great form with that. Also off a 6-day break as opposed to Geelong's 8, so they get an extra 2 days rest. Big stat here, Geelong have won 12 of the last 13 against St Kilda, so they're pretty dominant. I think the market around 7.5 seems pretty good for Geelong. They get Hawkins back in. I think Geelong's will play. Geelong there for MG, thank you. Now we go straight to the Western Bulldogs and the West Coast Eagles. The Western Bulldogs, $1.02. The Weagles are at 13. The line is 65.5, over under 173.5. Why are we bothering? Yeah, why are we bothering? Well, the Bulldogs need a win to play finals. That's one of them. Their line's going from 62 to 65. So clearly West Coast, they've given up for the year. They've lost 19 straight on the road, and 8 and 9 of those by 40 plus. So not a game for me. I think the Bulldogs will do what they like. They do need a big win with percentage, so expect this to could be another 100 points. Could be one for Toprope. He loves 100 plus. Okay. And now we've got Melbourne and Hawthorn. Melbourne, $1.25. Hawthorn, $3.85. The line is 25.5. Overrun 167.5. Yeah, the market's actually come for Hawthorn a shade here, 27 down to 25. It did get as low as 24, so it's bounced back a little. Big game here for Melbourne. Obviously, Hawthorn's season's over. Their last 2 weeks, they've beaten both Collingwood and the Bulldogs. That's what I'm saying. So how good. They're finding form towards the end of the year, so they're building into next year, so it's probably important for them. Melbourne have won their last 6, including a draw with Hawthorn in the last 7 games. So I'd expect Melbourne to get the job done here. They need to bounce back after their loss last week against Carlton. Hawthorn, to note, they might lose Lewis, their full forward, and they lost Wingard as well. So 2 big outs in the forward line. I think Melbourne get the job done. Okay. Thank you very much, MG. Now, the last game, Sunday afternoon, Fremantle and Port Adelaide, Freo, $2.40, Port, $1.54. The line is 9.5, over under 168.5. Yeah, 14th v 3rd. Port had a very good bounce back against GWS. I think they had their little form slump where they lost 4 in a row. I think they go to Freo and get this done. No bet yet. I think sit and wait. We'll just see what happens. But yeah, I think Port might be the play. I don't think there'll be too many points in this game. But yeah, just too important for Port to try and get a home final, and Fremantle season's over. So we'll stick with the power at this stage. We're all over the power. Okay. Thanks to MG and Toprope. Punters, if you need the GGOA and the Stings, you can get that for GGOA, $33 a week. The Stings is $25 a week in the Little Birdie Live TV shop. The boys are all over it, running into the finals. Thank you for having me this week. That is a wrap for Thursday Lines. Remember to follow us on YouTube, download our podcast everywhere you get good podcasts from. We are on socials. We are on Twitter and Insta, Little Birdie TV. Remember, all your footy betting action is at topsport.com.au. Join us next week. Have a great weekend. Bye, punters.